Hi everybody, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'm from Ohio and I just want to bring you a fun fold card on this nice rainy day that we're having today. Much needed rain, but you know, it's a Saturday. We never want rain on the weekends, but hey, we're going to take it. We need it, and I'm just hoping that it kind of lasts. Makes me want to stay in my craft room and just be able to do stuff, but also did a little bit of stuff up in my house too. I'm getting ready to go on vacation Friday. I'm going to be going to Surfside Beach, which is like 20 miles south of Myrtle Beach. And I go yearly with friends of mine, and it's an all-girls trip. This is like our 28th year. I think we started in 1994. So it's like our 28th year. And we've just had a really good time at doing it. So we're going to have a small group this time, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I don't know when I'll be able to get another video back up because I am not taking my stuff with me to Myrtle Beach. I am strictly packing less because we are traveling in a Prius. And, you know, you can't take a whole lot. So traveling less and just going to relax and enjoy my time there. Think about some stuff I might want to be doing after I get back and that. So in the meantime, I'm going to bring you this video. I also want to tell you that it's September already. Can you believe it? We're into September, and we have a thing called, let me see what it's called. I always forget how to say it. Perfect Partners. And it's going to be a we have some die sets. It's already in the catalogs, either in the annual catalog or the mini catalog that's till the end of December. And they've decided to bring out dies to match those. So there's 6 of them, and you may have the stamp sets already. If you do, you can buy the dies by themselves. And if not, and you decide, well, hey, I like that, they've got the dies with it, then you can go ahead and order it. You can order it as a bundle, save 10% when you do it that way. So when I turn my camera down, I'm going to show them to you. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you need one to order things, I would be happy to be that demonstrator. And then again, if you think you would like to join Stampin' Up just for the discount, or, you know, start a business, whatever you would like, I would love to talk to you about that, because I do want to grow my team, and I would just like to be able to do that. So when I turn my camera down, I'm going to show you these, then we're going to get started on our card, which is a fun fold. And there's some steps that I couldn't create beforehand that would have saved time, because I want to show you how to do them. So in order to do that, of course, I had to keep everything pretty blank for us to do the start from the beginning to the end. So my video will be a little bit longer this time. And I hope you can stick with me and see it all, because it is a really cute card. And I am using one of the sets from the Perfect Partners, which is the Piggies. It's this Birthday Piggy is the name of the, this Birthday Piggy is the name of the set in the annual catalog. And then the dies are called Playful Piggy dies, and I'll show you that as soon as I turn my camera. So if you get seasick or anything, just close your eyes for a second. I'm going to flip you over here in just a minute and get us all focused in. I hate having to do it this way, but I can't afford to do it any other way. So this is how it goes for me. Tuck that back there. I'm just going to scoot this. Sorry, you're going to see my hand, but I'm going to get that black spot out of there. And I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. Okay, so here we are. Let me also get that focused in on my, there we go. And on my iPad so I can see what we're doing. Okay, this is the Perfect Partners. And we have the 6 sets, which is the Apple Blossoms, which is out of the mini catalog. The Fresh Stems is the annual catalog. The Piggies, the Tree Trimmings, and the Waterfall are all in the annual catalog. And the Yeti is in the mini catalog. So that is the 6 die sets that are going along with the stamp sets that are already out. You can always see these at my online store. If you have a demonstrator, you can see it at their online store. Hopefully they have one so that you will be able to see that. Here is my card I'm going to be making. Here's my host code for September. Already September. And that's also my website that you can go to and order. So I'm just going to scoot that up a little bit so I can scoot my card up a little bit. And here's my fun fold. I used the piggy dies, which are right here. I mean the piggy stamps, which is right here, along with, I used the piggy dies. And for the dies, I cut out the flowers, the flower and the leaf. And then on the inside, I cut out the little piggy on the scooter. So that is what I did for my card this time. And then when we close it, we just tuck that in under that flower and it holds it down. So I used the piggy dies. I used the border dies to get my little scallop around here. You can use the scallop, you can use the one that just comes to a V point, or you can use the curved one. Any one that you like would be cute. These are more straight, so they're hard. You know, you could use a straight one, but if you want a design to have the designer series paper show more, you'll want to use these 3 right here or something like them. Then we're also going to use our layering circle dies, because we're going to cut out a circle here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the smaller one to cut the circle out. Then I already did this part, but you put the 2 together with your paper under there, and then you make a frame. That's how you make this little frame right here. And then I also used the scalloped. Is that the one? Nope, one bigger. I get confused on this one because this one looks too big, but it's the right one. And that's going to cut out that circle right there. So that's what we're using today in our card making. Along with the stamp set. I didn't use any other stamp set. I used this. I also used some blending brushes, Stampin' Blends, designer series paper. I used an embellishment, but I don't even, there they are. I started to say I don't even see them on my table anymore because I was messing around. That's why I'm moving stuff all around. So here we go. So we're going to set this aside. We're up here for a minute. I'm going to show you the cards. You have to use 2 card bases, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I am not going to fold these yet. I want them flat because I'm going to be going through the die cutting machine. And I'm also going to be cutting an edge off of here. So I left that. I've got me a scrap of white to do my words right here. I also have a scrap of white to stamp my little pig on the scooter and cut him out. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of white to go on the inside of my card. And I have a 5 1/4 by 3 7/8 piece of designer series paper that'll go on the first. I call this the first inside and the other one the second inside, since there's like 2 insides, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm going to do first on this card here, which is this card right here, the front card. Well, it's actually the back card. I'm sorry. It's this back card. I'm going to cut an 1/8 inch off so that I have room here and it doesn't make it bulky. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take and bring my paper cutter in, and I'm going to cut an 1/8 inch off. Now, if you have trouble with your 1/8 inch marks, it is the first little mark past the cutting blade. Below, not the top metric numbers, but the bottom inch numbers. So it's the first one below right there. Doesn't take much off. Just like that. That's what we're going to cut off of that. So we don't need that. We're going to throw it away. So we're done with that. Now we're going to bring in our die cutting machine. And usually I found it best so that I didn't mess up. Because you know, I can tend to mess up something in a hot flash. Let me move my camera up a little bit. See if I can to just get this in a little bit to where you can see it a little bit more. And hopefully not see me. But anyway, we are going to take, and we're going to take this. Now, I'm going to go this way so I can cut my edge out right, because our card is going to be folded from this side. So this is actually the front, because it's folded backwards. If you can see this in the camera, that's this top card and it's folded backwards. So this is going to be my front here. And to get all that, I'm going to go from this side. If you went from this side, you would have to put your die at the bottom. I'll show you that here in a second. Let me get these dies out. And I will go ahead and do the curvy die again. And I'm going to get my circle die. So what I mean by this, and I don't mean to confuse you, but doing it this way, this would be how I go. And then when I fold that, it's going to be the front of my card. If I took and put everything over to this side to cut, then I would have to still put this in with my die still on the edge, but my circle would have to come here. So when I folded it, this would be at the top. But to me, I feel like I'm working backwards doing that. So although I'm working backwards going on this side too, but that's okay. I'm used to die cutting from this way sometimes. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you an easier way to put this on. You can put this on and eyeball it, and you'll want it about 1 inch from right here. And then you've got this. So you need to make sure you get that on straight. Now I'll show you a way. I'm going to have to move this back out for just a second. But I'll show you a way that I did that I kind of liked a little bit better. I brought in my die cutting machine, and I actually had my die about at 1.5 inches. Which it's hard to see. Right there's 1.5 inches, so it's about, it's 1.5 inches on my paper, actually. So if I put that 1.5 inches and bring that in, and then just have my paper where I want it, then I can, that's still, so it'd be about like that. So I hold my paper down here, and I have that. You just want to kind of make these, make sure your ends are matching here. So when you go to take this off, I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape. I've been having a hard time finding my ends of my washi tape. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape that down a little bit. Actually, I'm going to bring it down to about right here. Or do I want it down to... Line it up about, make sure your paper is straight. And you can line that up against these bars and go ahead and put a piece of washi tape down to hold that. And I go ahead and put one on each end because that tends to want to move a little bit. So let's get another piece. Washi tape is like not my friend. We do have a problem sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And there I have that ready to go. And I do that because I have a really hard time getting that straight. Now, if you've got good eyes and can get that straight without doing what I just did, more power to you. My old eyes just don't get it sometimes. Of course, I don't think I ever seen straight. I've always had a hard time with that. So I'm going to lay this right here and just make sure I've got it in place. I'm going to take my circle now and I'm going to lay it where I think I want that to add to my card. Then I'm going to bring this in and roll. Didn't want to go. I need to use this as a rolling machine to get my strength back up in my arms. Okay, so now let's move all of this. We're going to save this because we're going to be using it. We're going to peel this off, and there is our front of our card. And that's all you have to do with that. You can save your washi tape or you can throw it away. If you're like me, you got tons of washi tape you don't use. So I just don't worry about it. Just don't. Okay, let's move all these out of our way. We don't need these right now. We'll need them in a few. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this over. Okay. I'm going to take my made up bone folder. And I'm going to score that really good. Here's our card. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to fold that over. And where you know, if you're cutting and your blade leaves where you can feel your edge, take your bone folder and just smooth that out and you'll never know that that's where you cut that. So we're going to fold that over. And this is what we have. See our little edge right here that's cut off? This is going to be our front. So our card is going to go together like this, okay? And that'll fold in and that'll fold over. And that is basically our fun fold. So let's glue those together because they can dry. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you get a good coating of glue, but you don't want it to ease out. Ease or ooze, however. You just don't want it to do that. This is going to be the back of the card. This is going to be on the front. I'm going to kind of line that up right at my fold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that. I'm going to stand it up and I'm going to make sure that's even. Okay? I just want all of that to be even at the top and the bottom. And once I got that, I'm going to open it back up and I'm just going to press that really good. And see, I had some little oozies right there. Don't want those oozies if you can help it. But I don't have any sticking out back here, so that's good. So I'm going to set that and let it dry. Make sure I'm okay here, that nothing's wet. So what we can do right now is I'm going to take this piece that is our 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to stamp the words "Enjoy the Ride" because that's getting stamped on that piece of paper, piece of cardstock itself. So let's get "Enjoy the Ride." I have all my stamps on a block already. I did get that prepared. And I'm just going to stamp that, and I'll end up putting my little piggy underneath that. So there's "Enjoy the Ride." Let's clean that stamp off. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, just close this back up for a second. Let's go ahead and put that on the inside of our card. My glue's wanting to, so I got that kind of globby right there. I'm just going to push that into my card. And I'm going to want this more to this folded side so that we don't see the white edge here. So I'm going to scoot that over and make it sure that it's closer to that side, because I don't want to see that edge if I can help it. And that looks pretty good. It's almost, you can see it, but for the most part, it's good. I'm going to go ahead and put on our piece of Designer Series paper, and you can see why I cut it 3 7/8 this way, because we had cut that 1/8 inch off, so we needed to cut an 1/8 inch off of this also. So we did that. Let me make sure what I'm doing. I'm just going to glue this in right here. Okay. So now this is what we have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take our little frame that I cut out. Remember how I told you I took the 2 circles, put them together, and made me a frame that's going to cover up right here, just to give it a little bit of dimension on the front. So I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to put some dots around the edges of it. Pick it up. Let's open it up, put it right here, and just wiggle that in. Okay, we have that part done, and what we're going to do next, remember our circle that we kept that fit right here? We're going to put some glue on it, or any kind of adhesive that you use is fine. And we are going to hold the front down. We're going to stick that in right where it goes. Lift this up. And there's our circle there. Okay, now we're going to do our stamping. And we're going to do all of that at one time. So I am going to bring in all of this, and we are going to stamp. So, and I'm going to move my card out of the way while we do that, because before I stamp, we're going to, I'm backing up a minute. Before I stamp, I'm going to bring this in. And if you notice on my card, I've got a little bit of color on the background. We are going to do that first, so that we don't smear the ink when we stamp. So I'm going to bring in Balmy Blue, and that's going to be what my sky is going to look like. So I need to ink my, and I want it real light, so I'm just going to go real lightly over this. I don't want anything with a lot of color. I'm just trying to get the stark white out of the picture. So there we go with that. And then I'm going to bring in Sahara Sand. And we'll ink that up. And then we're just going to go lightly over that. Whoops. I said lightly, but I got it a little dark. That's okay. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little bit at the bottom here, real lightly. You can't hardly see the color on this one, but there is color down there. And this is for when I stamp my other piggies. Okay, so there we go. So let's put the inks away there. We'll get our stamps out. The first one we're going to stamp is, whoops, I get ink on my fingers all the time. And you know what I do when I do that a lot of times is I just go to my chamois and use my fingers like they were an ink pad and get the ink off of them. Takes it off pretty good too. So, just a quick trick. So let's ink this little piggy up. And then I'm going to bring it in and I want to stamp him down here where he's going to have some of that darker color. So we're going to set him aside and let him dry. And then we are going to bring in our other little piggy. I really like him. He carries a little birthday flag. I just think that's too cute. So I'm going to bring this in. And I'm going to stamp him down here a little bit. Doesn't matter if he's a little crooked. I'm going to cut him out. And there he is. Nice and cute little guy. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the words, "It's your birthday," and "wee." The words "wee." We're going to stamp one here. We don't need that anymore. I'm hoping I can hit the paper. So we're just going to stamp that on one edge. And then we're going to stamp "It's your birthday." It's your birthday and we were having a good time, little piggies. Does everybody like piggies? I do. I think piggies are sweet. Of course, I almost like any animal. There's a few that I'd rather not be around, but most of them don't bother me. So let's get this put away. We don't want it. Okay. Here's our card that's done. And then here's this one. So we're going to color these two things real quick. And then we will also be putting our "we" and our birthday. And while we're coloring, we're going to also color this little flower. I cut it out with the dies. What did I do with my leaves? I've done lost my leaves. There they are. So we're going to color all of these. Let me color this little flower, and I just use the light Daffodil Delight. And I just didn't want to use the yellow cardstock. I wanted to use the white because I think it gives a little bit of depth. I'm also going to use the light Flirty Flamingo. And where these little marks are, I'm just going to add some little marks. And that's it for the flower. We will set our little flower aside. It's done. Then we are going to come in and we're going to do our little piggy. We're going to use light Flirty Flamingo, and out of the neutral tones, the skin tones, we're going to use SU 1000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Flirty Flamingo and I'm going to color his snout. And then I'm just going to give him some I'm just going to outline him. I'm also going to do his tail a little darker and go around these rocks. I call them rocks. I guess they're rocks. Then I'm just going to scribble some stuff in here, like so. Kind of makes him look like the dirty piggy, doesn't he? Let's bring that down a little bit. So then I'm going to take this SU 1000, which is Stampin' Up 1000, and I'm just going to blend these colors together. I couldn't find a color that I really liked with my Flirty Flamingo, and that's what I wanted to use. But I didn't want him real pink. I just wanted him to and there he is colored. Isn't he cute? So let's finish him real quick and then we'll go to the other. I took the granny apple green, made my little stems, some little grass right here, and some leaves. Did the same thing over here. I took the light Daffodil Delight, one of my flowers, yellow. I wanted to bring in some other color besides the Flirty Flamingo. I did do my centers with Flirty Flamingo of my flowers. And I took light crumb cake. And around here on my rocks, I just kind of added some little bit of depth to them where the dots are. And around the little dark marks. Just to add a little depth in there. See how that is? So he's colored. We're going to set him aside. We are going to bring this in. So while I've got this in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and do that here. And just add some marks. There we go. Under him. We're going to take and color the pig the same way that we did, but I'm going to take and do his hooves right here with the pink, the Flirty Flamingo, his snout. Go ahead and do his ear again, his mouth. I'm going to go in where his legs are, under his belly. I'm going to do his tail again in the Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to add a little color into there. And then I'll just bring this in, add a little color. We could get fancy and make certain kind of pigs and hogs, but I don't know all the different pigs and hogs. So he's just plain little low piggy is all he is. Okay, I'm going to bring in it's light smoky slate. And I'm going to color my headlight, his little steering wheel, and then I will color the little bitty pieces that are the chrome pieces and the inside of his tires. So that's done with that. Oh, and his seat. I forgot his seat. And then I brought in, I'm going to bring in the dark Daffodil Delight real quick, and I'm going to mark these little lines here. And I'm going to put a little depth in here. With the dark, and I'm going to then take the light and finish coloring and making sure I get those blended a little bit without trying to make too big of a mess. So there he is on his yellow scooter, and I forgot to do his little birthday sign, so I'm going to bring the dark back in, and I'm just going to do part of that in the dark. Then I'm going to bring the light, and I'm just going to blend that together. Get that all colored, and make sure when you're using alcohol inks like this, when you put the one color down, when you go with the next color and you blend over that, that re-wets these alcohol inks and has them blend. That's how you get your blending of your different colors. And so when they dry, they'll look blended. I am going to go ahead and take this light. I'm going to do my stars right here. And I think I'm going to do these little shapes right here. Then I'm going to take Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to do his little knob on the top of his thing, these little dots down here, and the triangles. Those are in Flirty Flamingo. And then I will take Granny Apple Green to bring in some green, and I'll just do these little swirls. And one thing I forgot to do is my light smoky slate. I'm going to bring it in, and where the smoke is back here, I'm just going to add that. And then I'm going to bring in my light basic black, and I'm going to make black tires. Tires are the hardest thing to color. I really don't want that black going everywhere. That's my problem. There we go. So he is all colored. Isn't he cute? I love him. I think he's really, really cute. So there's all the colors that I used, which was light and dark Daffodil Delight, light Granny Apple Green, light Flirty Flamingo, light Crumb Cake, light Smoky Slate, light basic black, and SU 1000. That's the colors that were used for him. So now what we have to do real quick is bring the die cutting machine in. We're going to die cut that, and then we're just going to finish putting it all back together. It won't take long, I promise. And the reason why I have my big one out was because I had to use with the bigger card, or I would have used my little embossing guy. So we're going to bring in from the Piggy Dies that's in that Perfect Pairs this month. We're going to bring him in and cut him out. So I'm going to slip this in here. And when I put that down, I like to hold on to it till I get rolling really good. Sorry for the table shakes and the noise. The noise is me. See how easy that cuts out? Cuts out really, really easy. So there we have our die cut. Let me put him back on the magnetic strip that I keep them on so I don't lose them. So we're going to bring this card and open it up. And we're going to glue this just right under here, okay? So I'm just going to add some glue. I don't want him to be popped up on the inside because it won't let your card lay flat if we do that. And we want our card to lay flat, or as flat as we can. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to lay it right here. I have some glue right there. I can feel it. So, you know, when I have glue, I'm going to erase it. And these erasers you can get off of Amazon. They're just called glue erasers. And they will take your glue. If you let the glue dry for just a minute, it takes it off faster, because it's not having to roll over but I'll take it. I even take it to my table in the other room. But if I feel any glue, I just take and erase it when I find it and keep my table kind of cleaned off. Okay, he's on the inside. There he is. So now we are going to take and we are going to use some dimensionals. And I am actually going to just cut right here. Part of my dimensional paper. But it's still dimensionals, so we use it. We're going to put that on there. And I'm actually going to open my card. You can stick it through that little hole if you want, but I like it open. We're going to just sit him in there like that. We're going to bring our little I'm going to cut like that. And I'm going to come at this edge and I'm going to cut like, and then I'm going to cut this down. I just want the words. I don't want a lot of I don't need a big border at the top and the bottom. So there's one. I could have found me a die maybe to use and cut the words out, but to me this was just faster, just as simple. And sometimes you don't have the exact die you want, so you can just cut it out yourself. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to glue these on the front. So I'm going to take that and just lay it down. I'm going to do the birthday the same way. Almost dropped it in the floor. Not good. And it says, it's your birthday. And then I have my little flower that we colored, remember that? And then I have 2 little leaves right here. And I am going to take and I am going to cut my stem off of my leaves. I don't want the stem on there. I'm going to take a little mini dimensional, one of our little mini ones like this. Just going to hold that on my finger a minute. It's going to take the top paper off while it's on my finger, but it's hard to get a hold of. That's what I'm going to do is take the flower and just turn it over and use my finger and set it down. Like so. And then I'm going to hold my card shut, and I don't want my dimensional touching where my, I just want that, and under there I want that to be able to get out of there without sticking. Let's make sure it does that. Yeah, it doesn't stick. And then it just tucks back in under there. So I just want to make sure that's on there good. I'm going to take my leaves, and I'm just going to add a drop. That wants to keep sticking. Just going to add a drop of glue. And I'm going to stick one in under my flower there. And then I'm going to do the other one the same way. And that just gives it a hint of color. Is basically why I used the flower on there. I wanted that hint of color, so I put a yellow flower with bright green leaves. I actually glued this leaf. Hope I can get it off. He was upside down. We're going to put him back in the right way. There we go. That was silly. So there's our card. And that is the fun fold. You open it up. You can use flowers and all kinds of stuff. I just want to use the pigs. I really like them. I need to do something else with them too. I don't know what yet, but just burnish that, you know, a couple times to make sure you've got a good crease and it folds really good. So it holds down. So there's the one we did today. Here's my sample. Oh, I know what I didn't stamp. Was my little butterfly up there. I think I'll put that little butterfly up there real quick, because I think he's cute. And he's the tiniest little guy. Look at him. Tiny little butterfly. So let's ink him up. Turn him around so he's not flying upside down. And then I'm going to take the light. That's the one that fell on the floor a while ago. The light. Daffodil Delight. Because this one's done with the dark. And then I did another one with the light, and I liked it a lot better. So we're going to use the light. There we go. So there's our butterfly. Need to put our butterfly in there. And then here's my hot mess all around today. I was kind of messy. Don't know what that's all about. I do want to mention, if you go to my Facebook group, which is Stamp Crazy VIP on Facebook, I have all the tutorials for my cards, which this would be this one. So you get the pictures of it opened, and then you get the supplies, and then the directions of how it's done. So with that being said, I don't know if I'll be back before I leave. I'm going to try, but I have a lot to get done between now and then, so I don't know. If I don't, I will see you. I'm going to be gone from the 9th to the 18th, and then I can see you sometime after that. I hope you all have a great day, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye.